Hello students, welcome to today's lesson. In this video lesson, we'll learn about bar charts. A bar chart displays the data using bars of different heights. Like how the line graph shows the displays the data using lines, here the data is displayed using bars of different heights. And these bars show the relationship between two or more data points, and they can be in vertical, or the bars can be presented horizontally or vertically. Let's take a look at both vertical and horizontal bar graph one by one. On this slide, you can see the vertical bars. The standing lines, the lines in the standing position denotes the vertical bar chart. Here is the example of horizontal bar chart. When you observe the line, they are sleeping lines. So sleeping lines denotes the horizontal bar chart. The data displayed in both are the same, only the way the bars are represented or displayed is different. Let's compare both on the slide. When you look at both, one is vertical on your left and the horizontal bar chart is on your right. When you look at the keywords, it's all the same. Both the graphs shows most favorite fruit when you check the title. The only difference you can see here is the axis. On vertical bar chart, the numbers are displayed here like 45, 40, 35, 30, 25, so on and so forth. And the keywords, the fruits, apple, orange, banana are on this axis. Whereas in the horizontal bar chart, it is opposite. The numbers are displayed differently and the fruit names of the fruits are displayed differently. The data is the same, the amount is the same, the keywords same, you have the same title. The only thing is the display of bars in each of them. Now, let's look at the types of bar charts. There are two types of bar charts, dynamic bar chart and static bar chart. It is very important to notice the difference because the way you write the description is different for the static and the dynamic. Basically the vocabulary is different. You don't use the same vocabulary to describe both the charts. For the static chart, the vocabulary is completely different from the dynamic. Now, let's look at it in detail. Let's look at the static chart first. A static chart either contains data points belonging to a single period, like it can be for 1 year, 1 month, 1 week, like that. Or there is no time reference at all, no time is mentioned. So when you read the question and you find the time period for only 1 month, 1 year, or 1 week, it is a static bar chart. And if you don't see any time reference, then also it is a static bar chart. Now pause the video and read the question. It says shares of expenditure for selected categories: United States, Canada, United Kingdom and Japan 2009. So it is for one time period, so it's a static chart. So the vocabulary you use to describe this chart is completely different from the one you use to describe the dynamic. So let's look at it one by one. Now here is the dynamic chart. The dynamic chart, on the other hand, contains data points across a period like 24 hours from 12 a.m. to 12 p.m., 5 decades, 1960 to 2000, or days, Monday to Friday. It is over a period of time from one time period to another time period. Then it is a dynamic chart. Pause the video and read the question. The bar chart below shows the sector contributions to India's gross domestic product from 1960 to 2000. Whenever you see the time period from this time to that time, from Sunday to Saturday, from January to December, from 1990 to 2000, whenever you see a time period like this, it means it is a dynamic chart. When you see only 1 year, 1990 only, then it is static. When you don't see any time reference at all, then also it is static. Now, to describe the dynamic chart, use the same vocabulary what you use to describe the line graphs. I have two separate videos made on the line graph vocabulary. You can go and check them and use the same vocabulary and the same way you use to describe the dynamic chart, how you did with the line graph. There you were seeing the lines and writing the description. Here you will look at the bars and write the description. That's the only difference. Paraphrasing the question, overview, description, everything remains the same, and the vocabulary. Let's quickly look at the vocabulary. Now on the slide, you can see the dynamic bar chart vocabulary. It is very similar to line graph vocabulary. In line graph also, when the trend is going up, we used increased, rose, grew, improved, ascended, climb, etc. And when the lines were going down, decrease, fell, drop, went, decline, dipped. And for when there is no change, when it's stable, we used these words: stayed the same, remain constant, leveled off, and all. For the highest point and lowest point, and when it is going up and down, we have the word. Same thing you can use here for the bar chart. And also for the changes, when the change is small, these are the words you use: gradually, minimally, slightly, moderately. And if the change is big between one data point to another, you use the words like significantly, sharply, dramatically, steeply, and substantially. So as you can see, the vocabulary is pretty much the same for the line graph and the dynamic bar chart. Let me repeat again. A dynamic bar chart is a chart which is for a period of time from 1990 to 2000, from Sunday to Friday, from January to December. When you have this in the question, this is the vocabulary you are going to use. Let's move on. Now let's quickly look at the structure. The structure is also very similar to line graph. For all the writing task 1, writing question 1, the structure is the same. And for all the writing question 2, the structure is the same. In the line graph, we started with the paragraph 1 where we wrote introduction and overview. Here also you have to do the same thing. Then in paragraph 2, you write the first main feature and the second main feature. You can write the introduction and the overview separately also. But I told you already in the class that it's always better you combine both, because these two are just one sentence or two sentences. So that won't make a big paragraph. So it's better to combine introduction and overview and write your essay in 3 paragraphs. So you will first paraphrase the question and write the overview. Then you write the first paragraph for main features and the second paragraph for main features. Same like the line graph. Now, look at this. This is a brief description of the graph. This is what you are going to paraphrase when you are writing the introduction. The bar chart below shows the sector contributions to India's gross domestic product from 1960 to 2000. You will change it in your own words. You will paraphrase it, and then you will write the overview. Now, when you look at it, the dark pink color signifies agriculture. A little lighter one is industry, and the very light shade is for services. So what do you see here overall? How can you write the overview? When you look at the graph, overall, what can you see? So let's first look at agriculture. It was above 60 here, then went down to somewhere between 50 and 55, then 40 and 45, then 30, and then little more than 10 or 15, between 10 or 15. So what is happening over a period of time? It gradually declined. The contribution of agriculture declined. This is the overview. That's how we wrote for the line graph also, right? Now move on to the next one, industry. Industry, here it was between 10 to 15. It increased to 20, then to 25, and then it remained at 25 till the end. So when you look at it, it increased and remained the same. So you can say the contribution of industry slightly improved, not that much, because from 15 to 25 it's not a big change. So you can say the contribution of industry to the GDP improved slightly, right? Now let's look at the service sector. It was again like 15, around 15 to around 22 to around 28 to around 45 to around 62. So what is happening here? It is increasing. So service sector drastically increased from 15 to 62. The change is very big, significant or drastic or dramatic. These are the words, or sharp. These are the words you can use here to describe it. So after you paraphrase the question, you write the overview, and in the overview you will write, overall it can be seen that the contribution of agriculture to the GDP declined sharply. However, industry grew slightly improved, whereas the service sector increased significantly. So there are two things increasing and one decreasing. Which one? Agriculture decline, but industry and service improved. Industry improved slightly, but services contribution improved sharply. So in the second paragraph, you will write about the contribution of agriculture because it is a separate trend, decreasing. Then in the next paragraph, you will write about industry and services together because they both show some increase. Okay, now let's look at this. There will be a lot of information in the graph, and you need to read it carefully before you start writing. I always tell you in the class also that when you get any question, don't immediately start writing. Spend some time, 1 minute at least, to read the question, highlight all the main things which you need to include, and then you begin writing. First, when you look at it, look for the title. And what is the title here? Contribution as percentage of India's GDP. Circle it or underline it or put an asterisk mark on it on the question paper. Then read the question and decide, is it a dynamic chart or a static chart? If it is for a period of time between one period to another period, it is dynamic. If it is for only one period, or if you don't see any time there, it is static. So write there in big words whether the chart is a dynamic or a static, right? Then you need to find out what are the units of measurement. And it is clearly given in the question that the units, the numbers are measured in percentages. So you will write the word percentage, 70%, 60%, 50%, like that. Then look for the time period. What is the time period? 1960 to 2000. And then what is the most obvious trend? Obvious trends are here, like the increasing ones, the decreasing ones. And do you see any similarities? Yes, the industry and service sector both improved, whereas the agricultural sector declined. Now, to describe this, you may use the same sentence structure. I gave you 4 complex sentence structure previously. The video is already uploaded. You can check that and you can use the similar structure to describe the dynamic bar chart. Use the title, subject, verb, adverb, figures, and date, and so on and so forth. Now, here, the features are divided. There are 3 main features in this graph. What are the 3 keywords? Agriculture, industry, and services. When you look at agriculture, overall, what can you see? You can see that the contribution of agricultural sector dropped steadily, slowly it dropped. I mean, at a pace, it dropped continuously. The second main feature is the service sector. It increased. And the industry, it first improved a little bit but remained the same for a longer period of time. Now then you will start writing the introduction. How to write the introduction? Simply paraphrase the question. What is the question? The bar chart below. Why it is written below? Because below you have the chart. So when you are paraphrasing it, delete the word below because you're not going to draw the chart, right? You're only going to write the description of it. So don't write the word below. The bar chart illustrates. These are the words which I already gave you when we were doing the line graph. illustrates, demonstrates, gives information, explains, displays, like that. So the bar chart or the bar graph displays or illustrates what the relative percentage contributions made by. Now, instead of contributions, sector contributions, mention the sectors. What are the sectors? Agriculture, industry, and service. So made by agricultural, industrial, and service sectors to the Indian economy between 1960 and 2000. I told you that when it is from and to, you will make it between and. Okay. Now let's continue. Here you will write the overview. Overall, or over the whole period, the percentage of agriculture declined. We already seen that. Which one? The three main features we have seen when we looked at the graph. The same thing you're going to write here. The percentage of agriculture declined. How? You can, if it is sharp, you can say sharply, gradually, steadily, dramatically, drastically, whatever it is. While what happened to the services? It grew significantly from 15 to 62 is a very huge difference. However, what happened to the industry? It experienced a different pattern. What is that? Initially means in the beginning there is a slight increase, but then it leveled off. Okay, when something or some trend increased and then leveled off, you can mention that it increased initially or in the beginning or at first, and then it stayed the same throughout. Same like line graph. If you spend time reading the graph, writing will be very easy. Quickly look at the graph and first decide the title. The title is contribution. Then decide if it is dynamic or static. Then the units of measurement, then the years, and then the keywords, and then see the main features, overall trends. If you have this information, writing is very easy. Use the same sentence structure and the same vocabulary you have used for line graph. You can go back to the line graph video and check it once to understand how you can write the sentences. Then in the first paragraph, you write about agriculture. And in the second paragraph, you can write about service and industry, like how you wrote for the line graph, describing that it increased, decreased. On the other hand, it jumped, fluctuated, reached the highest point, lowest point, stayed the same, remained constant. All these vocabulary you can use and you can describe. Okay, you can pause the video, read the description by looking at the graph, and here is the complete essay by looking at the graph. This has been taken from IELTSjackie.com. So the reference is that site. So you can look at it, check the graph, and read it on the other side to see how the essay was written, and you will find that it is very similar to your line graph. There's another one. Now let's see, do this together. What is the title? Airport visitors is the title. What is the units of measurement? Millions of passengers per year. Is it a dynamic or a static? From 1995 to 2000. Answer yourself. It is a dynamic chart. What is the keywords? John F. Kennedy Airport, LaGuardia, and Newark. Now, this, which is John F. Kennedy? The small checks in the black and white. LaGuardia is all black, and the last one is Newark. Now, overall, when you look at it, look at first John F. Kennedy. What is happening? It is 25, 35, 49, and then again 35, 32, and 45. So it fluctuated, sometimes increasing, sometimes decreasing. So John F. Kennedy, the airport visitors to John F. Kennedy Airport fluctuated. Okay, let's look at the second one, the dark black one, which is LaGuardia, the dark one. So it was 35, 40, then 42 or 45, then 49, then 69, and 69. So it improved. it improved slightly and stayed the same at the last 2 years. So you can say it improved sharply, because from 35 to 69 is a big change. Significantly also you can use. Now look at NAVARC. 15, then it was 25, 39, 41, again 41, and again 41. It remained the same in 1998, 1999, and 2000. So you can say that the airport visitors in Newark Airport initially, or in the beginning, or at first, improved and then stayed the same till the end of the period. All these things you will write in the overview after paraphrasing your question. Then, in the body paragraphs, John F. Kennedy fluctuated and Newark increased and improved the same. So these two you can write in one, or John F. Kennedy in one paragraph, LaGuardia and Newark Airport in another paragraph. Okay, we have a sample question answer here, which I'm going to share with you in few minutes, and you can pause the video, look at the graph and match the description there. So here is the chart with the introduction and the overview. You can pause the video and read it. Then you have the details, and for the practice I'm going to share one chart with you. You can write it, you wrote already if in the class, again you write it following this one. Okay, so here is the question. Take the screenshot of it or pause the video and write your answer, and you can get it checked after you finish writing. So it is about the GDP growth per year for 3 countries. Instead of 3 countries, you can write GDP growth per year for Tunisia, Japan, and Ecuador between 2007 and 2010. It's first find out the title, then what type of a graph it is, what are the keywords, units of measurement, years, and then you begin to write. And you shouldn't spend more than 25 minutes writing on this. Okay. If you wish to go for any online resources, this is the link and these are the references. So thank you so much for attending this class. Go through the video, and if you have any doubts, you can write in the comment section and I'll get back to you with another video clarifying all your doubts. And do share it with your friends so that they also find it useful. Okay, thank you. Bye bye till the next video.